Just like the other conics, with parabolas we also have to use complete the square in order to get them into standard form to be able to graph them. So the only difference with parabolas is we only have one square term. So we only have to complete the square once based on what has a square in it. So this one, we have an x squared term, which means we're going to have to complete the square with the x's. So we're going to have our x squared plus 2x. We're going to have to add something to that to make it a perfect square. And then we want everything else on the other side of the equation, which is already true here. So our negative 4y stays over there. But remember, whatever we add to one side, we have to add to the other. So now we go through our complete the square process. Divide by 2 equals 1. Squared, and that equals 1. So that means we have to add it to both sides. And now we just have to factor. So this turns into x plus 1 square on the outside. And now we also want to, on the left side of the equation, factor out the coefficient in front of the y. So in this case, that coefficient is a negative 4. And then we are left with y minus 1/4. So keep in mind, you'll have to divide that negative 4 out of both terms or any terms on that right side. And that's how we're going to get our a value. So that's the parabola in standard form. If we were to go to graph it, we know our vertex would be -1, positive 1/4. We know our a value would be 1 because 4a equals 4. And from there you can graph your parabola. This example just has a little bit more extra stuff with it, so it's a little bit harder to see from the beginning. So we look at it, and again, there's only one squared term. That's how we know it's a parabola. And then since it's y squared, that means we want to group our y's on the left side, everything else to the right side. So we're going to group y squared minus 2y. Remember, this is where we're going to want to complete the square. So I'm going to put my plus blank there. And on the other side, I'll have negative 12x minus 25. So now we complete the square with the y's. Divide by 2. Square it. We're going to add 1. If we add 1 to the left side, we also have to add 1 to the right side. So now we factor. This turns into y minus 1 squared. And then our other side, after we change that, that's going to turn to negative 12x minus 24. So now remember, we want to factor out the coefficient to x because we want to end up in parentheses without anything on it. So we take that negative 12 out, but then we have to take that out of everything, so we're left with a positive x. Negative 24 divided by negative 12 turns into a plus 2. Now our parabola is in standard form, and we can pull out all the information we need to graph it.